And now for something completely different, as it is the 4th of July weekend, we now go to look at the 4 biggest unresolved issues facing our metro. The first week of July marks the halfway point of the year, a great time to take stock on where we're at and where we're headed in this place we call home. The 4 biggest unresolved issues. Scott, the first of those 4 issues is what?
Unresolved, I would go back to the first story that we talked about today, and it is the violence in this city and how do you stop it. And I don't want to minimize that, and I don't think that you can. Per capita, we have a higher murder rate in Kansas City than Chicago, which has been known for the last 2 summers as a city of blood. The violence and the murder in certain neighborhoods in this town is out of control, and I would certainly hope that the mayor would take it upon himself, instead of blaming the state legislature, for finding ways to get this solved.
So we're still only halfway through the year, so we still have a chance to resolve that by the end of the year.
Hopefully.
Eric, what did you put down?
Housing. The housing department, the HEDFC returned the receiver returned their assets back to the city from HEDFC. So now what's the city's housing department going to do? Is it going to create an opportunity for CDCs to come back into play and create jobs and training for small minority businesses?
By the way, if you fix housing, you could fix a little bit of the crime problem, in my view. I think that's a lot to do with it.
You know, it's a great one, by the way, because it's one of these issues you don't hear huge amounts about. It's one of these very complicated issues, Eric. Dave.
Well, I think the biggest challenge in the next 6 months, Nick, is for Kansas and Missouri to reach some accommodation on this battle for businesses that are going across the state line and all the tax incentives that are being ladled on these companies to move 500, 600 yards. You talk to enough city leaders, they will tell you, on both sides, by the way, it needs to come to an end, because the only real loser is all of us, because we lose that tax revenue for needed things like police protection. They've made some fits and starts at it, but I do think it's reaching a critical mass among opinion leaders, policymakers. I would guess that would be one of the bigger stories in the second half of this year.
Now, some people would have said one of the big unresolved issues, and it's the one we showed in the opening video, was the airport. And is that what's happening with that?
Well, but that will not, I wouldn't put it on my list, Nick, only because that isn't going to be resolved anytime soon. Okay. There is a chance they might just kill it outright, but absent that, it's going to be years before they make a decision on it, in my view.
Another one would be Citadel. What are they going to do with that? Is that project ever going to get in? Is there ever going to be a plan?
Yes. Fortunately, though, Eric, it wasn't the 5th of July celebration. Yes, we didn't have to have 5. We've already done the 4. Next up on our 4th of July, 4 issues for you in Review Show. The biggest letdowns in the Metro so far. Dave, what was on your list as a letdown so far this year?
Well, I think the performance of our baseball team is a big problem. I think that a lot of people were excited about the Royals. We don't talk a lot about sports on this program, but I firmly believe that performing sports franchises can give communities a reason to sort of unite around solving a lot of other problems, and the continuing failure of both of our major franchises is a letdown. There's no question about it.
There was a while they were doing really well.
Yeah, and then boom. We'll see.
It's a 6-month season.
Scott, what did you put down as, for the first 6 months of the year, the biggest letdown?
My biggest letdown so far, and we actually touched on this just a moment ago, has been what I at least perceive is the ramming down the throat of this one terminal idea in Kansas City for the airport.
Yes.
And I know that the mayor did put together an advisory panel that's going to look into the many issues, but and I pointed this out on my radio program as well. You look at that, and I have nothing wrong, there's nothing against civic leaders and people who are very successful, but there's not one blue-collar person on that panel advising the mayor. There's not one stay-at-home mom. There's no average Joes on that panel.
The biggest critic of the opposing side is on there.
Yeah, one out of 23, 24?
Okay.
I think that he could have gotten a much wider swath of everyday Americans, everyday Kansas Cityans on that panel.
But there never is. When you look at those panels, it's always, you can pretty much guess at least 5 of the people that are going to be in there.
Eric, what was your letdown? What was your letdown?
My letdown was the traffic light, the signal lights. They shut them off. They didn't engage the community. They just said, here it is. This is what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. And now they're coming back, eating crow, engaging the community, but the damage has already been done. And one of the things that they've always campaigned about is transparency and engaging the community.
Okay, you can't have a 4th of July show without some surprises. So what about the 4 biggest surprises in the Metro so far this year, Eric?
The weather. It snowed.
Snow in May.
Oh, okay.
snowed.
That was true. It was only a few weeks ago it was snowing.
It was
Absolutely. Dave.
I'm writing about this actually for the Star this weekend. What we're calling Feisty Jay Nixon, who the first 4 years, his first term seemed to be the go along, get along guy, compromise, more Republican than Democrat, some people said. He has vetoed 10 bills this week. That's twice as many as he vetoed in all of 2010, or almost twice as many. He is really starting to stretch his elbows a little bit, and I think that's a bit of a surprise.
Scott.
My biggest surprise was, and I've been a critic of what I thought were overly aggressive tactics regarding traffic control in the city of Mission for the last 2 years now. And I credit the Kansas City Star. They had a fantastic article a couple of weeks back that detailed just how aggressive
Karen Dillon.
Karen Dillon, how aggressive they really are compared to other cities in the Kansas City Metro. And I knew that they were a little over the top with their aggressive traffic enforcement. I had no idea how bad it truly was.
Well, hardly a fun topic. What about this week's front page news that the Missouri Attorney General hints at bringing back the gas chamber as a form of execution in the Show Me State? That must qualify as a surprise, doesn't it?
Well,
what
it
is
was
that
a
about?
hint. He didn't say it explicitly, but if you read between the lines, he made a statement in essence saying the drugs we use for injection at executions are, run out of potency, and if we don't get this solved, there may be other alternatives. I think everyone knows that the Attorney General is running for governor, and there may be some of that in this statement.
Okay, so we shouldn't be taking that too seriously then, Scott.
No, but I think to follow up on Dave's point, everybody knows that Chris Koster is going to run for governor, and this is Missouri has turned from a 50-50 state to a Republican-leaning state, and he's going to have to appeal to some right-of-center values.
Can I say this very quickly, by the way? The British are forgiven, officially on behalf of all of us, because I know you talked about that at the beginning.
Yes, I did.
So you're officially forgiven.
Thank you very much. A pardon from Dave Helling.
I do the best I can.
Well, that's very nice of you. And that is it for this week's program. Thanks. That is the 4th of July edition of Kansas City Week in Review. Our thanks to our guests.